Hey, peace family, what's going on? It's your boy Cornez here with Too Smart to Be Broke. Too Smart to Be Broke coming back to you, man. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody that drops down in the comments, that watches my video, that it helps, So I'm just here to plant seeds with everybody, and hopefully this helps you out on your journey as I talk about some of my experiences. I'm not a guru, man. I just look at it as a brother who's taking some information. I'm gonna tell you something powerful that you can do before I start talking about this topic. What you can do is learn, implement, and teach. All right, learn, implement, and teach, and then somehow, some way, you become a teacher and you become knowledgeable about a topic. Learn, implement, and teach, and especially it's important nowadays for online marketing, online branding. People like engaging with people that they know, like, and trust, and you put yourself out there. People have to know who you are and what you do, and take advantage of this information age. I'm kind of an introverted person naturally, but I moved around a lot as a child, so I can easily engage with people. I have no problem with making friends. I just choose to be on reserve a lot of times. But to do this, nowadays you got to put yourself out there. You got to talk to people. You don't have to, mind you, but if you take advantage of this, then you can be an expert in clipping toenails, and it'll be, if it's enough people, you consistent, enough people watching it, next thing you know, you selling toenail clippers, fingernail clippers, and stuff to get manicures and pedicures, and you teaching people how to professionally do that, and now you're an expert. So what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what you do, there's enough people in the world that are interested in whatever it is that you can get out here and put yourself out there, and you have intellectual property, which is invaluable, really. And with that intellectual property, you package it up and you sell it, and you're selling a digital product to people that, after you put the hard work in up front, now it's like you don't have to worry about storage as far as physical and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent. I'm getting off track. I do that, so excuse me whenever I feel it to come over me to kind of, talk like a handicapped pastor and just dropping information everywhere, dropping knowledge everywhere. That's just kind of what happens. But the topic at hand, really, man, let me get back to it. I talk about business credit, which is actually building credit profile with your business's employee identification number, which is EIN for short. If you ever had a job, then a W-2, when you get that W-2, it shows you an EIN at the top of that, and that's just for tax reference, to know what business is paying you and to how to be taxed and all that. So all these different classifications really come down to how the business is being taxed. All right, so that's the basic understanding. CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant, and cover your hind parts. You know what I'm saying? Really, that's just what it is. So I want to talk about a little bit about sole proprietorship versus LLCs, and a little bit about DBAs. Right. So the good thing about a sole proprietorship is actually that it's cheap. It's kind of easy to get into, a good quick way to kind of actually have a business name, and so you're operating in the public. Meaning, my first name is Cornez, so I can open up a lawn service company and have it Cornez Lawnmower Services, right? And what I would do is, some banks actually let you cash checks and stuff as Cornez Purcell Lawnmower Services. But what I would probably do is go down and get an assumed name certificate or doing business as name. They're one and the same. Counties and different stuff like that have different procedures and names for them. Fairly cheap, usually under $20, $30, depending on where you're at. Fairly cheap to do. And now Cornez has a actual doing business as certificate that says Cornez Lawnmower Services. Now with that lawnmower services, I can actually go to irs.gov and get an employee identification number, or EIN, for free. They're free, so you shouldn't be paying for them. Get it for free. And now I can actually open up a business bank account, and I can start doing business with the public as Cornez Lawnmower Services, because maybe I didn't just want to be doing business as my name, but it could be ABC Lawnmower Services, whatever's available in that county, state, whatever is available in that county, So that's how you can get in a sole proprietor. The main con is it's as far as business is concerned, the individual is the business. There's no separation. You're held liable for everything that goes on, and when it comes to growing a business and interacting with more people, when they start, suing you and whatever case may be, or financially bankruptcies, whatever, you're held liable for everything. It's not to say they can't find out who you are when you got an LLC, and an LLC has to be structured properly. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. So with the sole proprietorship, it's fairly cheap to get into, and I would say, hey man, if all else fails, if you got a job or you got to hustle, say you can't even afford a DBA, whatever you got to do, legal wise, whatever you got to do to make ends meet, man, go and do it, man. I'm not here to deter you from getting started. If anything, I appreciate people. I love people that get out here and get started. Taking massive imperfect action is the best way to at least just get over that hump, get over that fear, get out here and start taking action, start implementing. Don't overanalyze information too much. You have to learn. You have to pardon me, man, something going on my camera, keep cutting off, but you have to learn, implement, and teach. And that's probably going to be the best way that you start seeing some traction and start being successful. If you're interested in starting to brand yourself, like me, I started first making videos, and I made a couple of videos. Y'all see me kind of in my room talking about how I quit my job, got $50,000 or something like that, looking crazy or whatnot. And I wasn't very consistent. I made a video here and there. I made one, I made my first video kind of breaking down what business credit is, going through the list of vendors and stuff that I was hitting. That kind of picked up some steam. And over time, I said, you know what? If I want to be serious about creating an online presence, and I want to get into affiliate marketing, I want to get into learning how to make money online, I want to get into branding myself and networking with like-minded people. So let me give information that I receive and that I've implemented, share some of my experience, and I can honestly tell you, at where I'm at right now, I can see how being consistent, and just it goes with everything that you do in life, whether you're going to the gym, whether you're reading, whether you're starting a business, whatever, whether you're trying to learn how to speak a new language, whatever it may be, exercising that muscle, right, until you get to a point where it's a habit. It's a daily habit now. You don't have to think about it. I can see how it thrives and it grows, because I'm very happy with you all to interact with me now. I'm much appreciated. I've done a couple of consultations. My subscribers, I'm under 600 still, 570 something right now, and man, I truly appreciate it. And I can see how you can just give out, and whatever energy and currency you put out returns back to you. See how I go on these tangents, but anyway, coming back to it. So the sole proprietor is just a con of not having that liability. Having that liability, not having that separation. And as far as business credit funding, you are limited in the funding you can get because it's only considered an individual. On the flip side, we got an LLC, or limited liability company, and it's more than a single member LLC. You actually created a new entity. It's not you, it's not the individual, right? It's not the individual, rather, and you created a new entity, and with that entity, it grows up into a grown person, 2, 3, 4 years, and now it can walk on its own, talk on its own, get credit on its own. But you're gonna have to baby it, in the process. So it has to be structured properly. So make sure you consult your accountants and attorneys, because I am not that, and make sure it's structured properly and administered properly, and you can actually build credit significantly higher, because businesses tend to have more overhead, more funds they need, and you can actually have multiple officers, vice president, secretary, treasurer, whatever, and all of y'all can individually leverage, or collectively rather, you can leverage your personal credit to actually get credit for the business. So that's something else to consider. So I imagine if when I quit my job, which I don't tell people to do it like that, but that's a conversation for another day. If I had 5 or 10 people do the exact same thing I did, and I could have multiplied myself by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we had a real plan, we could have actually been out here moving and doing something. Rather, I decided to jump out here by myself, and I'm at where I'm at right now. So don't think everything is all peaches and cream. I definitely got to strive to be better every day. I got bills to pay. I got to keep the lights on. I'm just like you. So I'm moving, and I understand that sometimes going through this phase of learning, That's why I call my L's learning experiences. You know, some people just pop overnight, but a lot of people put in work 2, 3, 4, 5 years until they kind of develop systems and the mindset and the drive to get them where they need to be. And right now, I'm going through some of that myself. But I would never trade any of these experiences or anything for the world, man. I love it. I'm happy with where I'm at. But anyway, another tangent. The LLCs, man, you know, I'm not saying that they best thing smoking, because you got corporations, you got trusts, you got nonprofits, you got all types of stuff you can build credit with just for easy, you know, under comprehension, understanding. You know, sole proprietor, LLC, it provides you to get more access to funding. And you have separation of liability as long as it's structured properly and administered properly. So, but you know, make the best decisions you can for yourself and do what you can. Get out there and make things happen. Don't never let anybody hinder you from taking action. You know, that's a tough thing to do. You have an idea and somebody, oh man, that's dumb. So whatever it may be. And of course, sometimes you want to get mentored from people or have some insight from people who's doing what you're trying to do. And it's very helpful to talk to somebody who's doing what you are doing or trying to do, and they're successful at it. Get the information, but take what resonates with you, leave what don't. Because if you really have a burning desire to do something, go out there and do it. So don't overanalyze anything. Don't think too hard. Nothing's ever gonna really be, man, my camera's taking me through it right now. Nothing's ever gonna really be perfect, but you have to get out there and start taking massive action, even if it's baby steps. Be consistent and get to it. You know what I mean? And I mean that's kind of probably where, let me see if I got anything I want to touch on. That's probably really why I wanted to leave it, man. Is you got doing business ads, you got sole proprietors, you got LLCs, you got other things too. But if you really want to build business credit significantly, always remember this. Starting off right now with this algorithm right now, if you're a new business and you don't have 2-3+ years of tax returns, if you're not making money on a consistent level, you have zero funding, you know, you don't have anybody that's going to partner with you to leverage their personal credit to get funded, you don't have any inventory you can leverage to get funded, you don't have any 401ks or retirement or private lenders that you can borrow from to get funding, fix your personal credit. Get started. Either, I don't care. Look, listen to this. We do a lot of stuff on the whim, man. And I'm like, you're starting a business to change your life, your family's life, your lineage. You might just have to make some sacrifices. Of course, you want the individual to be separate, right? And there's ways to do that. But starting out, that's a way to start out. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, you know, that's probably the best way to start out right now. And then after the business begins to make money, begins to have 2-3 years tax returns, can stand on its own 2 legs, now you're not necessarily having to leverage your personal credit and personal guarantee, which means your personal guarantor, and if the business defaults, the individual was held liable. So always keep that in mind. So if you're seeing these videos out here when people are telling you, oh, you can get this, no PG, look, hey, call me ignorant. I don't see it. You know, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who trade lines they add into their account. I don't know if they lying on their paperwork or whatever the case may be. And somebody hit me up asking me in my DMs talking about, hey, if I have a new business, can I put down that I've been in business for 2 years? How can they find out? Tell y'all something. Don't you ever direct message me about doing anything fraudulent, especially when it comes to taxes or anything like that, or applying for anywhere. Not here. I'm sure enough not going to entertain and talk to you about that stuff on through a DM, man. Anyway, yeah, that's crazy. But as soon as I say, hey, man, I said, hey, man, if you want to talk to me, man, I'll charge you this, you know what I mean, 20 for 15 minutes, $30 an hour. Don't hear nothing else from them. You know, so these people, y'all out here funny, man. I don't do the funny business. You know what I'm saying? I have integrity and I do my best to be honest and transparent with y'all. But man, I just thought that was wild. So, but anyway, man, hopefully some of this information helps you, even if it's a little piece of it. Man, share, like, subscribe, and you have anything you want to share with me, I'm all ears. We can build together. Hit me up Instagram at Too Smart to Be Broke. And remember, take massive and perfect action, man. This stuff is to change your legacy, your lineage, for you to have that freedom that you want. I'm not saying it's easy, but what are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you got to go? Because you look at we here, why are we here, whether we've been here, how did we get here, and the information that they have gave us, the things that they have done to us, and the way that we think and we operate is a construct that they have created. So yes, it's very hard to unlearn some of these things, unlearn some of these bad habits, unlearn some of these mindsets, and adopt new ones. It's very challenging because some of us are in college, but most of us are not in school anymore. So you have to relearn and re-educate. But for me, it's fun to learn, but it's very challenging sometimes going through these experiences. But just know, I'm right here with you. Your boy ain't perfect. I'm trying to keep the lights on, baby, just like you. You know what I'm saying? But remember, you too smart to be broke. You know, learn, implement, teach. Each one teach one, man. That's why I'm here. So if I'm rambling on tangents, I'm saying the same thing over because it's somebody new seeing this information that it can help. And if it's just one person that I can help, man, I'm good with that, man. So peace. Love, y'all be easy. Thanks for coming to the channel, baby.